Dear Egon, happy birthday und alles Gute zum Geburtstag. 133 today. You don't look a day older than 28, Egon. I'm writing to you from the London Library. There's thunder and lightning outside, so I'm not going to cycle home until it settles. I'm happy though, as I have in front of me two massive books about your life and work. The one I've been reading this afternoon is called Egon Schiele, Life and Work by Jane Kallir from 2003. It's incredible how many events and chapters of your life there are, given that you died so young. I've started an arts program called On the Hanamichi, On the Flower Path, and many of my videos have featured your art, writing, diary journals, etc. This week I've decided to make a week-long celebration and exploration of your work. Please have a watch and subscribe when you have the chance. I think you will enjoy them, as I also have lots of videos on Gustav Klimt, Japanese theatre, art, film and dance, which I know you love. Anyway, today I've been learning about your early childhood, which is fascinating and very important to understand, I think, for a deeper understanding of your work. Sometimes I think 2023 is a circus, but when I read about the turbulent times and tensions that were around when you were trying to establish yourself as an independent artist, I stop feeling sorry for myself. I've just read a short passage from one of your contemporaries, Stefan Zweig, in this book, and he talks about the prevailing attitude in turn-of-the-century Austria. Austria was an old state, dominated by an aged emperor, ruled by old ministers, a state without ambition, which hoped to preserve itself unharmed in the European domain solely by opposing all radical changes. Young people, who always instinctively desire rapid and radical changes, were therefore considered a doubtful element which was to be held down or kept inactive for as long a time as possible. Above all else, we were to be educated to respect the existing as perfect, the opinion of the teacher as infallible, our father's words as uncontradictable, the provisions of the state as absolute and valid for all eternity. A second cardinal principle in the pedagogy of those times, which also applied within the family, directed that young people were not allowed to have things too easy. Before any rights were allowed them, they were to learn that they had duties and above all others the obligation of complete docility. It was to be impressed upon us from the very start that we, who had not yet accomplished anything in life and were entirely without experience, should simply be thankful for all that was granted to us and have no right to ask or demand anything. Egon, was this really the world of Vienna at the beginning of the 20th century? I'm now back at home. I managed to avoid the thunderstorm, thankfully, but cycling through the parks, all sorts of questions hit me like thunderbolts. Firstly, do you like music? And if so, what songs or composers are your favourite? And like Schubert, you never travelled outside of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Do you wish you could have seen other cities and countries? I read earlier today that you collected Japanese woodblock prints and exotic relics. What do you like about Japanese art? And also, who was the greatest inspiration in your life? Was it Gustav Klimt, your wife Edith, Wally, yourself? There is so much that I would like to ask you, and I'm so thankful for all the books and exhibitions I've encountered recently about your work. I went to the Leopold Museum and the Belvedere in Vienna in March. I've watched a film about you in the cinema, but it's not enough. I should like to meet you, talk to you directly, see you in the flesh. You've always described your paintings as living. What do you mean by that? I tried speaking to you through your portrait with Peacock Waistcoat, hoping, wishing, pleading for some kind of response or sign that you could hear me. You're born on 12th of June, so you're a Gemini. You of all people should be sensitive, compassionate and willing to listen. Today I read a segment from your manifesto for the Neue Kunstgruppe in 1909, when you were 19. You wrote, "Art remains forever the same. Art. That is why there is no new art. There are only new artists. The new artist is and must be completely true to himself. He must be a creator. He must be able to build his own foundations directly and quite alone without relying on the past or on tradition. Formula is his antithesis. Thank you, Egon, for all the beauty you have brought into this world, for the strength, determination, and courage you possess, for your style and poetry, for your wisdom, personality, and daring, for inspiring the people that came before me, and for the people you will continue inspiring after me. Your art is eternal. Love, Sully.